Ohayo gozaimasu. How you all doing today? Today I wanted to do another kind of talking vlog, and just because today is a kind of special day in a lot of ways, but or a very memorable day, at least if you're here in Japan or know about. Probably if you're watching me, you have some interest in Japan, so you should already know what I'm talking about. But it's the 10-year anniversary of the tsunami that hit Sendai. It was March 11, 2011 was the date. And whew, what a day that was. I'm trying to recall back on that, what I had encountered that day 10 years ago. It was a long time ago. It's To think about it, it's like a third of my lifetime ago. It just makes me sound really old, but I guess the older you get, the more that kind of thing will happen. But I'm digressing. So when I had first heard about it, I think it was like early afternoon around here, maybe around 2 or 3. And I was driving somewhere around the Araha area, and when I had first heard about it, because the tsunami had hit there, or actually, first off, it was the earthquake. The tsunami didn't happen until a few hours later, and I remember hearing it was a really large earthquake. And the thing that came to mind most for me was the fact that my cousin and her nephew were actually flying into mainland that day, into like the Tokyo area. And what was it? My nephew, who was actually on the swim team, was in the water at the time of the earthquake, and he said that the water was kind of going like whoosh. So, imagine that kind of being a scary thing where it just seems like you're just gonna get drowned by the swimming pool. But well, that was after I could actually call them, of course. So that was the other thing too. It was after the earthquake. A lot of I guess, the phone lines went down, so it was really hard for me to contact anybody at the time. I think it was like a 2 hour something or whatever, and I had just gotten a smartphone, but I remember hearing about how there's supposed to be a tsunami that, well, the tsunami hit mainland first, and I didn't look at the footage until a little bit later. But then there was supposed to be another tsunami coming to Okinawa, and I was like, I don't really think it'll come. I mean, we're on another tectonic plate. We're really, really, really far away from Honshu, like something like 2,000 kilometers or something like that. So I don't think it'll come here. I mean, and if it does, no matter where I am in Okinawa, we're just all going to die probably. So, I mean, I remember at the time I was panicking. I was somewhere in the Adaha area trying to find like a high-rise area, and I was thinking about calling my friend Rihanna to see if I could stay at her place because she lived on like the sixth floor of a building, but then I couldn't call them because of the phone line situation. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just accept my fate, whatever ends up happening. But nothing happened to Okinawa, of course, because it's very far away. But going back to my house and actually watching the footage, it was it was like a nightmare basically. I couldn't believe that kind of thing actually happened here. I just remember like this crashing wave that was just on the screen, and just everything it was in the path was just kind of like swept up. And then eventually, like, I remember parts of it were like on fire or something too. It's just like this huge wave of mud just moving in. And I remember like watching the videos, or like even watching some cars trying to drive away, and I was like, it was able to outspeed the cars that were trying to move away from it. So yeah, that's frightening, just honestly the scariest thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I remember just being in huge shock over it. It was weird because I kept watching the footage over and over again. Like it got etched in my mind. Like I could still vision the huge wave of water moving, as like even today, because I watched it so much, because it was just etched in my mind, because I had nightmares about it later on. Like after I went to sleep, I kept thinking it was going to happen here, or something like that was going to happen here. And yeah, after that had happened, my dad was part of this operation called Operation Tomodachi, which I guess, I don't know if at the time it was supposed to be some secret or whatever, but the military and their secrets. But now, 10 years later, I'm sure everybody probably knows or doesn't care about it. But he went to go help there for about a couple of weeks, and I really wanted to go because at the time I still didn't. I was just a college student, and I was like, hey, if I can get out of school, I'll go. But my dad said it was only people who were told that they had to go. But so as far as like relief systems go, I couldn't really do anything. So all I really did was like try to pool over some money. I remember I posted on Facebook. I was like, well, for each person that likes this post, I will contribute like 100 yen or something, and each person that shares this post, I'll contribute 1,000. And it was, like a couple of my friends actually criticized me. They're like, why are you trying to use this to get like popularity or whatever? Like, no, I'm trying to raise awareness for the situation, because I had friends who were in Japan who hadn't actually heard about the news up until this point. And then I kind of showed them and they're like, oh yeah, that's crazy. But I remember even just like a couple days after, there were some before pictures of what it was after it gotten destroyed, and like maybe like 4 days later the road was completely restored. I don't know how accurate all those pictures were, because I think they might have taken just some random pictures of what it was before it got destroyed. But Japan is known for building very, very quickly, and I wouldn't surprise me honestly if that actually was true. But yeah, I know a lot of people got put into like domes or like airports or like these large kind of shelter areas for a long time, and it was really rough. I had a friend who actually lost both of his parents, and that because he was from that area, and he lost both of his parents, and it was, I mean, I didn't know him at the time, but he said it was a, really rough. It's always rough having to lose people in that kind of situation, especially if there's, just something you couldn't control at all. But I remember also seeing though that supposedly there were warning signs of, I don't know if this is like a conspiracy theory or whatever, but there were like these poles that were planted into the ground, and it says do not build below this point. And I guess the tsunami had actually hit like right up to that point, or everything below that point was like just decimated. So I don't know if history was warning them not to build there beforehand or whatever, but yeah, I mean, it's still a really tragic event, and still kind of comes to my mind every day, every time of this year. I just take some time and kind of like reflect. Apparently, this year on the bases, they're actually spending time from like 3 o'clock to like like they're spending 5 minutes to play a tsunami warning, like kind of siren or alarm or whatever. But it's not actually that. It's just an commemoration of that. So I thought that was really nice, because I remember in previous years they didn't do anything like that. So this might be as it's a 10th year anniversary, it's pretty significant. But yeah, so that was my experience with that, and hopefully something like that, something drastic like that doesn't happen again. But like, it made me really kind of appreciate Japan though, because there were a lot of people were able to pull together and really really push forth. They didn't think about themselves or like pillaging. I'm thinking about some other situations where it wasn't as fortunate, but in Japan's case, everybody kind of like pulled together and really tried to help each other out of the situation. They looked for everybody in the big picture, and it made me really proud to be part of Japan in that case. So there was that. So, and like, I don't doubt that if a situation like that does happen again in the future, Japan will react in the same way, because it's about like the whole all for one, and the one picture of course is Japan as a country in general. But yeah, that's my experience, or my thought reflection of 3/11. And what were you guys doing during that time, or what was your guys' memory of it, or what did you guys think about when you saw it? Let me know below, so maybe we can have some kind of discussion about it. Well, thank you guys again for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. ありがとうございました。またねー。